Hey guys, what's up? And today we're going to be talking about the story of Jonah. So here it goes. The story of Jonah is in fact about the prophet Jonah, of course, who was sent by God to prophesy the destruction of the city Nineveh, but tries to deny his divine mission. The Lord told Jonah to go preach against the city of Nineveh, for they had sinned against him. But Jonah was fearful of the Lord, so he instead went on a ship going to Tarshish in an attempt to flee from the Lord. The Lord sent a great wind at the sea, though, which conjured a great storm that was so powerful that the ship was on the verge of breaking. The sailors on the ship were scared and began to pray to their gods, and they threw some of the ship's cargo overboard and hoped to lighten the ship. While all of this was happening, Jonah was in the hold of the ship, sleeping. The captain went to him and yelled, "What are you doing asleep? Get up, call on your God. Perhaps this God will be mindful of us so that we will not perish." Then everyone on the boat casted lots to discover who was the cause of this misfortune that was upon them, and the lot landed on Jonah, and they asked Jonah many questions, such as where he came from, what his business was on the boat, and what people he belonged to. Jonah replied by saying he was Hebrew, and that he feared the Lord, God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. The men were struck with fear, and asked Jonah what they can do to calm the sea. Jonah told them to throw him into the sea, and only then will the storm go away, for it is his fault that it was there in the first place. Since they are sure he will die, they ask for mercy from God, and then they proceed to throw Jonah overboard. But when Jonah was thrown overboard, the Lord sent a giant fish to swallow Jonah, and he was in its belly for 3 days and 3 nights. While in its belly, Jonah prayed to the Lord, "Out of my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From the womb of Sheol I cried for help, and you heard my voice. You cast me into the deep, into the heart of the sea, and the flood enveloped me. All your breakers and billows passed over me. Then I said, I am banished from your sight. How will I again look upon your holy temple? The waters surged around me up to my neck. The deep enveloped me. Seaweed wrapped around my head. I went down to the roots of the mountains, to the land whose bars closed behind me forever. But you brought life up from the pit, O Lord my God. When I became faint, I remembered the Lord. My prayer came to you in your holy temple. Those who worship worthless idols abandon their hope for mercy. But I, with thankful voice, will sacrifice to you what I have vowed I will pay. Deliverance is from the Lord. And the Lord made the fish vomit Jonah onto the land. God came to Jonah once more with his word. He said to Jonah, "Set out for the great city of Nineveh, and announce to it the message that I will tell you." Jonah then set out for Nineveh. Nineveh was a great big city, so large in fact that it would take 3 days to walk through it. On only the first day of Jonah walking and saying, 40 days more, and Nineveh shall be overthrown, the people believed his word, and they fasted and all put on a sackcloth. Even the king did this, and he sat in ashes and had his word that no man or beast, cattle or sheep, shall eat anything, nor shall they drink water. Man and beast must both be covered with sackcloth and called to God. They must turn away from their evil ways and violence. When God had seen these actions of the people, he repented of the destruction of the city. But this, for some reason, angered Jonah. And Jonah prayed, "O Lord, is this not what I said while I was still in my own country? This is why I fled at first toward Tarshish. I knew that you are a gracious and merciful God, slow to anger, abounding in kindness, repenting of punishment. So now, Lord, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live." And in response, the Lord said, "Are you right to be angry?" Jonah then left the city and headed towards the east of it, where he built a hut and waited under it in the shade to see what would happen to the city. God then provided Jonah with a gourd plant, and when it grew over Jonah's head, providing shade, Jonah was greatly delighted. The next morning, God sent a worm that attacked the plant so that it withered, and when the sun came up, he sent a scorching wind that with the sun made Jonah so hot until he became lightheaded. Jonah then said, "It is better for me to die than to live." But in response, God said to Jonah, "Do you have a right to be angry over the gourd plant?" Jonah responded by saying, "I have a right to be angry enough to die." The Lord said, "You were concerned over the gourd plant, which cost you no effort and which you did not grow. It came up in one night, and in one night it perished. And should I not be concerned over the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 persons who cannot know their right hand from their left hand, not to mention all the animals?" This concludes the story of Jonah.